Hi and welcome to my channel. In today's video we're going to be replacing water pump on this 2013 Honda Accord. There's a few different ways that you can do this water pump, but one way is you remove the alternator, the belt tensioner, all that got to come off. The belt comes off first obviously, but anyways, I'm not going to be changing the alternator, but I am going to be taking it off, so you're going to have a good guidance how to replace the alternator. Alright, so if you have a belt here, this is the original belt from the Honda dealer. The part number you guys can see right there. Okay, customer got when they got this. So if you have 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, the procedure is similar, okay? About the same. And I will give you torque specs. We have a water pump here. Customer bought it online, rockauto.com, R-O-C-K auto.com. You could Google it. There's a part number saying that's the water pump. It's a good brand, okay? You don't have to go original, okay? And it comes with a seal. Of course, you need a seal. And inside here, we have a water pump. So let's take a look at this water pump. Comes with a pulley. So try to get a good water pump. Like this customer went and got his own water pump. I don't have prices on any of this stuff because he went and got it. But I will give you a torque spec. And this water pump, just to give you an estimate, it shouldn't be too much and it shouldn't be under 90 bucks anyway. All right, make sure you get a new seal with it. I don't want to be talking a lot, so we're gonna jump right onto the job. So this water pump is in this manner if you stand in front of the car. So there are bolts that you need to fish out, which is gonna be through this hole. So we're gonna fish out this hole, or this bolt through this hole. You could turn the pulley to another position, and there's another hole right there where you can get that. So 1, 2, 3 bolts, okay? 3 bolts we're gonna have to fish out right through here, so you need a deep 10mm socket. So there we have everything. Let the car cool off. We'll drain the antifreeze first. All right guys, so first thing, make sure you have a bucket, put it down here, because we're gonna drain the antifreeze. Make sure you don't burn yourself. The drain plug is right there, okay? So the drain plug, as you can see, it's right there, and it's very easy for you to get from up here. Just make sure this catalytic converter is not super hot and it burns you. A lot of times this little bad boy won't turn, so you might have to use probably a needle nose from underneath or from up here. All right guys, let me give you a walkthrough before we do anything, okay? So first we're gonna remove the belt. We're gonna pull that tensioner with a 17mm wrench I have. Okay, the belt will come off, and then we're gonna take off the alternator. Will not come off because the bottom bolt on the alternator is being blocked by the hydraulic system on the tensioner, so we need to take out the tensioner first. Okay, so the tensioner has an L right there that goes right in the center right there, and then it has a number 12 bolt all the way in the bottom, and the tensioner would just come right off. Okay, from there on you can work on the pump, but in our case we're gonna take off the alternator to make, I like to make jobs easy. So if you want to do try to do the alternator, I'm sorry, the water pump just that way, because it will come off, okay? But I am gonna go further a little bit. I am gonna remove this alternator, so I am gonna take off the bolt that's in here, because it's gonna, oh, you have to disconnect the battery if you do want to take off the alternator. I like to put something around it. I'm gonna take off this 10mm, this 10mm. I'm gonna disconnect the connector on the AC compressor right down there. Also, I'm gonna take off this. Make sure this does not touch the cable that you're gonna take off here. Does not touch the ground anywhere. It will spark and you will blow the fuse. So what I like to use is I either tape this up once you take it up, remove it, or put a glove and tape that up as well. But I have a good system, so I'm not gonna disconnect the battery, because if you do disconnect the battery, it's gonna go bananas, okay? You're gonna lose all memory. So my antifreeze is draining. I did turn the drain plug. There it is, it's finished. My camera battery went low. Right now I'm at 50%. I give it a good half an hour to charge. So I'm gonna lock up the antifreeze system, the drain plug, because we don't want it make a mess. Okay, so what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna turn this, you know what, not even turn it. I'm gonna take this reservoir here, just take it and scoop it to this side. Make sure you don't put your weight here, you will break this, okay? So first thing first guys, I am gonna take off this bolt here. And I am gonna take off this bolt here. Okay. Because these connectors, they usually break, so I don't want to break nothing on this car. This is gonna come out fairly easy. And if you want to remove this alternator, that's how you're gonna do it, guys. And like I said, you could do the water pump right from here. It'll be a little bit of struggle, but I like to remove things and get things out of the way. Bada bing, bada boom. So there's one bolt. Let's put it somewhere safe where we're not gonna lose it. All right, so I'm gonna get this bolt out of here as well. And here it comes. You're not gonna be able to do the water pump without removing the tensioner because that bolt right there is blocking a few of the bolts, okay? So this is number 12 here. We're gonna take that out. But first, let's take off this connector here. A lot of times these connectors are hard to get off. There you go. Push on this clip really hard and remove that. Let's take off the AC compressor wiring. So all of our harness is loose. We just need to remove this little guy. Okay, when I got me at number 12, make sure if you're not disconnecting battery and you're doing it like my way, make sure you do not touch the ratchet. It turns and it touches there while it's on it, because it's gonna be, you know what I mean. Let me just not continue to say, I lost my words already. But anyways, once it's loose, you can take this off. Now I'm gonna set up my cameras because I need both of my hands, very critical. I don't want that cable touching anywhere. Put this somewhere safe. Let's put it right here. Okay, so the next step, like I said, very critical. Make sure this does not touch anywhere, okay? And what I like to do is just take your glove, put this around it so nothing gets into it. Make sure the glove doesn't have a hole. And then you can simply, okay, this thing is all cracking up like a biscuit. But anyways, simply just let it sit right there, okay? And that's it. It's not gonna bother us no more. Okay, next step. I'm gonna be working with the one hand here, but I might switch up. So you're gonna need a ratchet here. You're gonna pull the tensioner and remove the belt. Make sure you have a diagram. If not, draw it. I have a video on how to replace this belt anyway, but it's a simple little diagram. Just draw it out, how it goes. And there we have it. So I set my camera up right there. I'm gonna pull on this and simply slide the belt off. And sometimes the belt, you won't have a good position, so I'm gonna find another position because the belt just simply the wrench wants to go back and hit this and the AC line. I do not want to damage the AC line, so let me try to find another spot. Come on, go on, boy. Doesn't need too much of a force. That's about it. Let's see if this is good enough. There you go. Now I'm able to take off my wrench. I'm gonna pull off the belt completely because we're gonna be replacing it with a new one, so we're gonna have to reroute the whole belt. That's why I said if you're replacing the belt, just do a diagram and the belt simply just comes right out. And there's our belt. Okay, so I'm gonna be showing you a few more tools that we're gonna need. First, we're gonna go all that out there. We're gonna remove this number 12 down here, and after that, we'll take off the center bolt on the tensioner. Okay, it is gonna be a little bit tough to see, so I'm gonna be using this number 12 deep socket, and I'm gonna get that bottom hydraulic bolt on the hydraulic on the tensioner. So I'll show you that once it's all out, which bolt we was talking about, but it's right in the bottom here. Okay, there you go. It's loose. There's plenty of space in the bottom for you to look and remove a lot of bolts, but we're not gonna go from the bottom. I am gonna fish everything out from up here. This bolt is pretty stiff. Okay, it's loose. I should be able to get it out by hand. This AC line is no good here. Okay, still doesn't want to come out, so let me just keep going with the ratchet a little bit more longer. But my ratchet might come to a stop where it's gonna hit the firewall there on the side, so let me get something else. So I'm gonna be using this 1/4 inch ratchet here with a short 12 and get this little bad boy out of there. You could see it from right in the front here with your eyes, and I just couldn't put the camera there, but the tensioner, I'll show you, it only has 2 bolts. Okay, and I'm able to wiggle the tensioner around already. Right, there you go. That's the number 12. It's gonna have a washer looking like that. So let's put this on safe. You cannot lose that bolt. So we are still not gonna be able to remove the alternator part because alternator bolt is right behind it. So if you need to take out the alternator, we're gonna have to go a little bit further. We're gonna take off the center bolt on that little guy. So we're gonna be using on the center bolt and the tensioner. So we're gonna be using 5x16 here. This is Allen here. That's what I'm using. So let me set up my ratchet. Okay, so right from up here, I should be able to get my socket onto the tensioner bolt. Oh, there goes my light swinging. Okay, so it's loose. It's loose, and then our tensioner is just wiggling around at this moment. I want to say one thing. If there's any washers, anything in there, make sure you keep everything in order. You do not want to lose order. So once it's loose, you're not going to be able to take that out any further with this ratchet on. So you're going to have to just go on with the socket and turn it by hand. Okay, bolt is going to be pretty long, but it's moving and it's coming out. Just the tensioner is just putting too much, it's putting weight on the bolt, so that's why I'm not able to turn it a lot. But it's coming out. It has to come out. Okay, buddy. Come on, come on. You can even dismount this engine mount here, give it space, jack up the engine so you have more space, more clearance here a little bit. But if you can manage it like this, perfect. But I don't understand why they would do that with the bolt for the alternator. Alright, so I'm struggling a little bit here. I just want to get on the camera side, so I'm going to shut the camera off. Once it's out, I'll show you. Alright guys, it's almost out. Just want to get that last point on the camera. So there's the bolt and the socket comes out with it. It's a long little bolt. And let's put that somewhere safe. So once this is out, you should be able to maneuver this tensioner around. Let it just fall there, I don't care. So what we're going to do is, we're going to take off this 14, and there should be one more bolt in the bottom here for the alternator, and that should come off, and we should be able to get this alternator out of here. Okay, so it got me a 14mm socket with a 3/8 long ratchet. Right down here, we're going to fish out the bolt for the alternator in the bottom. I'm sure you can figure out what bolt we're talking about here. And this bolt, it's like, it has like a housing similar to this little guy right here. You see how the alternator wire goes in there? So you have to, it's like a little hole in there. They're changing things around. They're playing games. Honda playing games. All right, so now I'm just gonna take my bolt, my socket, and I'm gonna turn that bolt out of there nicely and smoothly. Okay, there you go. There's the bolt for the alternator, the bottom bolt. And we have one more up on the top. So we're gonna use a short socket for that. Same ratchet, 3/8. Okay, that's the bolt right there. Once you loosen this up, the bolt should be easy to take off. If not, just keep going with the ratchet. Okay, seems to be out. This is a longer bolt, so make sure you keep the bolts in order and you try to remember which bolt goes where. So there you go, there's a longer bolt. Let's put these together and our alternator should just freely move here just like that. Okay, sometimes you'll have to put a pry bar here, just yank it out. So you put a pry bar right there and just yank it out, or a flathead screwdriver, and there you go. And that's the alternator. And here's the tensioner, guys. So the bolt we took off with the Allen key was from right there, and the 12mm was in the bottom here. Sorry, my camera wasn't even looking. Okay, so the bolt we took off right here, the Allen, and that's that deep. I'm just trying to find the bolt. That's the deep bolt that came out right from here. The little one came off from right here. That was the one with the washer, number 12. Okay, there you go. That's the bolt that came out of there. So try to keep this in order. Don't lose the order. Let's put this to the side. Anyways, our pump. Let's take a look at the water pump. Water pump is like talking to me. Take me out for dinner tonight. But anyways, so there's a whole bunch of bolts here. 1, 2, 3. And the bolts I showed you that are hidden, okay? So this pump wasn't leaking, but dealer recommended him. He came to me. He has about like 90,000 miles on this car. And we're gonna check it out. Don't worry about it. That's how the job is gonna get done. Alright guys, this is the best I'm gonna be able to do with the angle here. So we have bolts. Again, we have our bolts, and so we're gonna need a deep number 10 socket here. So what I like to do is make sure you have your bucket down below. Try to fish the bolts out of here. So what I like to do is try to find a hole that you can maneuver this around in. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to find the hard bolts first. So I'm gonna try to get this one back there first, and simply try to use a good ratchet also. And I put my ratchet on, but my direction is the wrong way. So there you go. So this one is loose, number 10mm, and then we're gonna need to find the second bolt. Always like to look at the water pump, see where it's located. So we just took off, we just loosened up this bolt here. Now we need to go the one below that one right there. So should be very simple for us to find that one. If you can't do it from the top, try to go from the bottom and try to like I said, loosen up the hard bolt first. So guys, give me a chance. Let me take off all the bolts. So once they're loose, just put your socket on and just turn it with the socket, okay? Alright guys, so I did get 2 of the bolts. It's pretty much, they're the same size so far. And I am on the third one that's behind the pulley. So that's the third one right there. So pretty much right through the hole. Move this guy. Once it's loose, you should be able to simply take this socket. Let me get the socket off. My light had to stay down there, guys. That's the best I could do with that light. And once it's loose, I do have a bucket down below. Again, I'm gonna mention that. Make sure you have a bucket down below, because it's gonna have water inside this. Not all the antifreeze comes out. Okay, that one looked like it's gonna fall, and I did bring in my magnet that was on these bolts. So if you have a magnet, that would be a good little help. And see that? Bolt wanted to fall out, so let me just leave that one there. So pretty much all the hard bolts are out, Now we are working on these three little guys. All right, so these three bolts should be very simple. Now I'm gonna go grab I got me a smaller socket. This lighting is an issue today. All right, so let me get another hard one on the top. Okay, what the hell is this? Okay, I think they switched up size. My socket just free played on that. That seems to be number 8. Okay, what am I here? I got the wrong socket. This is 11. Let me go grab another socket. All right, I'm sorry guys, I grabbed the wrong socket, so I'm gonna continue to work with this deep socket. I'm like, why? It can't be number 8. Okay, so I'm gonna loosen up all of these. This will let you know. Okay, I see antifreeze started to come out. When we're putting these back, we're gonna reverse the procedure. Okay, we're gonna put the easy one on first, but don't tighten them. Leave them a little bit loose, and work our way to the hard ones. This bolt here is corroded, and it doesn't want to come out. Okay, make sure, let's just I'm gonna make sure my fluid is going in the bucket. Okay, it wasn't going in the bucket, now it's going in the bucket. Okay, I'm gonna just let it drip out, give it a good 20 minutes before I even pop off this water pump. Come on, bolt. It's supposed to be by hand. So I want to hit the firewall. Alright, I'm gonna have to go get another tool for that. Now I got me a short number 10 here, which is not a good idea because it hits the pulley. But we got it off. Come on, come on, come on, come on. You're on the radio. And there's our water pump bolt from the top here. I'm gonna lubricate this. Make sure, keep an eye on your bolts. They should be same size. So far, the length is same for all of them. So these two, once I pull these two out, and I'll determine the length is the same. And that way, you don't have to worry about mixing up bolts. So pretty much everything is loose. I just got one bolt on the top holding this guy, and there you go. And if your water pump doesn't move, all you need to do is get a flathead screwdriver and just try to yank it open a little bit, just like that. Okay, just be careful with the AC compressor, so I don't want to drip it onto the AC compressor. So I'm gonna give this good 20 minutes and let everything come out. Moment of truth. I know you guys want to see this pump just slide out of there. So one last bolt, and here it comes. And I am going to give you torque specs, and don't forget to watch my part 1 and part 2 videos, because this is going to be a little bit longer. Gonna have to just pull it a little bit, and there's the water pump. Let me put this bolt away. And there's our water pump. This is a 2013 Honda Accord. Let's give you guys a good look, and my glove is caught in the camera. Alright, so the pump comes out. There's a seal all around it. Bada bing, bada boom. There's the job that we did just now, guys. With all of your help, staying and watching me. But now what we're going to do is, we're going to clean the surface. You see the surface? So take a blade. I'm going to show you a little bit of how I'm going to scrape this just with the blade. All you're going to do, okay? Don't use a buffer or none of that, because you probably warp the housing. And try not to get dirt into those holes, and try not to get dirt into the bucket of the water pump, the housing. But anyways, here goes nothing. Part 2 is about to come.